It's a new year now, and that means GTA 6 is releasing in what feels like 21 million more months. An extra day exists in February because the Earth's rotation around the sun is funny, and it's time to delve into my New Year's resolutions, which includes but is not limited to becoming a crime overlord, racing lots of expensive looking cars, and finding new ways to build my empire larger than ever. I'm going to have a lot of free time this year considering 2024 is just a filler year until 2025 kicks off, and I need to try new things. Los Santos is new, and I have plenty of money to spend, so that's where we're headed. With that in mind, I hop on my private golden jet and order my chauffeur to take to the skies. A little while ago, I stopped by a fortune teller and they explained that through trials and tribulations, I was going to have a bright future ahead of me should I go after it. Considering Los Santos has one of the best casinos on the planet, I am going to be betting everything I own there, based on that fortune alone. And once I bankrupt the resort casino, I'll rebuild it from the ground up in my own image. And considering I own a golden private jet, you can only imagine how much my net worth is based on the amount of fuel I burn in just one day alone. After a quick ride through the streets and nearly having a heart attack several times thanks to my driver being a maniac, I made it to the casino. They had this exclusive car on display and I planned to win it. I in fact did not win it. Beginning my winning ways on the slot machine seemed like the best course of action. It was a nice warm-up, but ultimately I went slightly negative. It reminded me a lot of those big Twitch streamers who lost millions of dollars on gambling websites hoping for their only shot of dopamine. Fun times. Visiting the inside track, I decided to bet on the drone warning horse because the odds seemed alright should I have won. Naturally, because I bet on something, it doesn't even reach podium, meaning this casino robbed me of more money. No matter. The roulette wheel is always my friend, so betting on red was a surefire way to recoup some of my lost funds. That's what I told myself in the moment, but of course that was a fucking lie. It just kept going and going and going to the point where I bet everything I ever owned and lost. Even my chauffeur, whom I thought would have my back through thick and thin, punched me in the face once I told him I didn't have his next paycheck and stole my car. I've somehow gone from riches to rags in the span of a few hours, and I don't know any way out. It's been 3 weeks since I've lost everything. My jet, my cars, my employees, my totally legitimate businesses. The only thing I have to my name are the clothes on my back, an entire 400 pennies in my pocket, and a gun I ransacked from some dude near the pub down the way. I'm freezing, I'm hungry, I'm through with this place, I've lost so much money here and I am desperate. So I'm robbing this convenience store so I can actually eat tonight. While pointing my gun at the clerk, someone decided to get smart and try to be the hero in this story. Now said person was set to the great big strip club in the sky. As I grab the money and dip out of there, a fancy looking car pulls right up to the store and honks the horn to get in. I don't even question it and we take off. Getting my bearings inside of the vehicle, I notice it's my old friend Ice from high school. His name isn't actually Ice, just in case you weren't aware, but we all called him that for several reasons, namely because he was anemic and had cravings for ice cubes 24 hours a day. We caught up and I explained my horrifying situation to him and then played a nice game of tennis. While beating his ass at tennis, because I was a champion at this game at one point in time, he provided some insight about life and how I was going about rebuilding it all wrong. Robbing convenience stores and doing petty crimes wasn't going to get me back to where I wanted to be. He pointed out that I once had the means to buy myself a golden jet of all things, and that I could do it again through hard work and dedication. I'm fairly sure he was spouting bullshit, considering there was a reason I left him in the dust in high school, but don't tell him that. After losing quite terribly, he told me to wait at the stairs while he went off and got a surprise for me as a result of winning, of course. After approximately 22.5 minutes, he finally arrived in a fighter jet and attempted to kamikaze me. I say the word attempted as he dove nose first into a brick wall about 10 or so feet away, successfully turning off his life switch and becoming concrete steak. He then tried running me over with some vehicle he found down the road, but I suppose he had balls for brains and completely forgot that video game physics exists. He then proceeds to bring about a fire truck and hose me down with his liquid. I'm convinced at this point he's just trying to find various ways to kill me because this is GTA Online, for crying out loud, but he's honestly doing me a solid. I also happened to find another fire truck passing by, and it was at this point that we decided to have a fire truck battle between us. This right here is exactly how I envisioned adult life would be like when I was about 9 or 10 years old, and you can only imagine how disappointed I was when that realization hit that riding around in fire trucks spraying each other with our liquid wasn't a possible reality. I'm just glad that in some way I can live out my childhood fantasies, even if it's purely fictional. In the midst of our heated battle, we stumbled upon a Brinks truck and tried to sandwich it between our fire trucks on a bridge. Of course, it didn't work because we're inadequate human beings and we had to give chase. Eventually, we boxed it in, and instead of being smart individuals and looting the truck for all it's got right there, we had the brilliant idea of one of us taking it for a joyride to an undisclosed location, only then to loot it clean. An armored truck designed to transport lots of cash wasn't going to win any drag races, so the cops persisted. Ice, of course, inevitably got arrested by the cops because he can't drive to save his life, so it was down to me to try to get away. Let me just give y'all a spoiler, it didn't happen whatsoever, because teleporting NPCs are about as common as pocket dimensions and actual pockets are in the games that we play, so you can say that they used and abused that feature. If I had the capabilities to teleport in front of various video game protagonists, my kill-death ratio would actually be above 0.7. Nevertheless, because we live in the age of instant communication, Ice and I were able to discuss plans to get myself and the truck out of harm's way after he posted bail. Somehow, with a 3-star wanted level, I got awarded $2,000 for quote-unquote continued good behavior. To put it into perspective how batshit crazy that actually is, 20 seconds prior to that, I ran a dude on a bike over. A Brinks truck versus a cyclist. I know what I'm putting my money on in a 1v1. 5 police cruisers and a helicopter are chasing me down right now. They can't exactly blow me up, but I'm stuck running until I find a solution, and shooting the cops was not the solution despite my intrusive thoughts completely winning out in the moment. Ice's bright idea, carry the money truck away in a cargo bob. Being completely honest here, I was 100% on board with the idea, but carrying a roughly 30,000 pound truck was not the easiest of tasks under the best circumstances, never mind in the middle of a damn police chase in the snowy mountain range. In the end, he ditched me, so I was completely on my own. Suppose it was inevitable I got boxed in on the freeway and I immediately died as soon as I stepped out. Ice did as well, but the important detail here is that I luckily respawned. And because video games make sense, as soon as the cops met their kill quota for the day, they completely left us and the truck alone. The back was completely empty, however, and I don't believe I've ever been blue-balled harder in my life. To drown out our sorrows of failure, Ice buzzes me into his high-rise apartment and gives me the grand tour. This was still around the time where Christmas had just passed, but you weren't quite ready to take down the Christmas tree yet, either because you wanted to appreciate its beauty for a bit longer, or because you were lazy. Take your pick. He gives me a tour of the place, and it's quite apparent that Ice is very much wealthier than I am in GTA Online. We downed some libations to take the edge off, enjoyed some sightseeing through the telescope, and contemplated life for a little while on his bed. You know you're true homies with someone if they invite you to lay on their bed with them and just bullshit for a while. We're not quite in the cuddling phase yet, but I have no doubt we'll get there. He offers me a spot on the next job he's conducting. It's a bank heist, and while I never had to resort to those measures to make my previous fortune, it did seem like a really fun idea, so I went along with it. No handouts were to be given, but this was indeed a two-man job, so that made me feel better. Lester gave us the lowdown on the way to the bank, as he is the brains of this operation. He's much more of a certifiable genius compared to the two of us, at least. I most certainly could never have hacked my way into the security cameras. I have a hard time figuring out issues with my own PC that I built, never mind the handiwork of somebody else much more proficient in technology. Because raiding a bank has been a big no-no ever since at least the year of 1899, if you know, you know, we needed a reinforced vehicle to get away when all was said and done. I'm essentially just going off of somebody else's handiwork, and we're looking to steal a Kuruma from some local street gang. It's supposedly bulletproof, so I can understand why an entire posse of middle-aged Korean guys wanted to shoot us dead for it. I'm just a simple pleb American, and even I want to shoot guys dead for this car. If you count approximately 47 different bullet holes in the car as a successful getaway, then we had a successful getaway. It still runs, and that's all that matters. We earned a smooth $5,200 for risking our lives, and I consider that a win. Lester later explained to us that should we continue down this career path, we would be expecting, and I quote, wild, insane, mind-blowing orgies in our future. I'm not sure what the correlation is between becoming wanted criminals ranking 7th on FBI's most wanted and wild, mind-blowing orgies are, but if it's coming from Lester, then it must be true. Ice, being the generous lad that he is, offered to maximize my earnings on this mission. Only one of us currently has the means to drive around in a Lamborghini to their high-rise apartment. The other is me. We decide to match uniforms on this mission because what other option is there? Our means of transportation to the rendezvous point is a fucking bicycle. I thought it would be peak comedy if I rode the entire 1.48 miles all the way to the factory on a bicycle. I told him to find his own damn ride, and to prove a point, I pedaled the entire way there. This is also the same man who jumped out of a vehicle flying down the road at 100 miles an hour right at my behind. Therefore, I technically committed suicide through faulty bullshit logic alone. The cherry on top was then getting my brains turned to ground beef by another driver. Not sure who repaired the 47 bullet holes in our Kuruma, but they did a nice job. On the way back to the bank, ICE's job was supposed to be hacking the bank's network so the police lawman guys wouldn't execute our faces before the job was done. This dumbass just sat there and decided he was going to smell the roses on the ride over, leaving me twiddling my thumbs, waiting for the appropriate time to actually get the job started. Because I was the driver, my job was to do the simple shit in this mission, like corralling the unfortunate soul stuck inside this bank. I honestly should have went with the other role. Hacking into a network and then using what I presume to be some kind of buzzsaw to open the safe is sure to be much more exciting than just watching helpless civilians fear for their life. You've done it once, you've done it 1,000 times at this point. I robbed every bank in Red Dead 2 not so long ago. By the time we got out of there, the cops were hightailing it right to us to send our souls to somewhere they probably deserve to go. Being the resourceful lad Lester is, he managed to get us an escape by hiring a professional with a cargo bob to fly away. This is honestly how I envisioned our heist with the Brinks truck going, but alas, I was severely disappointed. Because of the generous cut, I walked away with over $140,000, and we failed the elite challenge of nobody getting wasted because someone over there wanted some giggles. We celebrate at the bar as my luck seems to be finally turning around. I don't have enough to...
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's amazing. What the fuck? That's even better, bro. So you just got robbed by that motherfucker right there.
Oh god!
You fucking missed.
I was close, bro. Bro, if you could have saw from my screen how much I brought that back from fucking nothing, like I was not even remotely close, and then all of a sudden I wound it in.
No! What the fuck? We're out of team lives. You asshole. I didn't make it to the... Oh man, my bike is gone. Why am I following you again? If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving it a like, or if you hated it, leave it a dislike. And if you haven't already and you like what you see on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Helps me out a ton. Shout out to all my Patreon supporters for making videos like this one possible. Have a good one. Peace out.